Hey guys, this is Ian McMinn and this is Path to Who I Am. Greetings from El Salvador. I'm putting these videos up with a little bit of delay, but at the time of this video, I have already left Costa Rica and I am in El Salvador. I'm gonna be here for another 10 days at the point of me filming this. And then I'll be returning back to the US. It's been really fun so far, super immersive. Really gotten to unplug my brain a lot, enjoying thinking in Spanish, speaking in Spanish, and yeah, unplugging the typical mind I normally use. So that's been really fun and really recharging in a lot of ways. I want to talk about a recent session I did where an interesting theme came up. And this is actually where I was a client, meeting with a trusted intuitive / medium, kind of interesting, where we discussed a number of different things. It was very interesting. They didn't have any information on me and they just started kind of flowing. But this idea of being in this place of having things coming to me and in that magnetic state that we can be in, where everything feels lined up and taken care of, and we're living our lives and we feel as though everything that we desire to create is making its way to us. And in opposition, the other extreme could be described as sort of a thirstiness and a searching for it, right? So this is not about whether or not we should pursue our goals, but this is about the place that we come from, regardless of what we do, right? So if we think of a binary, and this is interesting because this was relative to, this was specific to me and specific to what I'm building, this advice really resonated as a result. It was tailored to me, it was channeled for me in this session that I got to do as a client. And it involved, this language. And so for me personally, I have experienced many times in my life, I still do occasionally, and I get to watch out for it and be mindful of it, this thirstiness and searching, the insistence on making things happen, on creating things. Now, I need it now, let me go find it, right? Like a rabid dog, a rabid hyena, scrounging the wasteland for something that isn't really there, right? That's the thirstiness and searching for it mind, right? And then when we get to notice that though and shift back, we can shift into what we could call picturing everything coming to me, right? Which is a very different, much more peaceful, much more relaxed, much more confident, much more fulfilled state, right? We all have been around people that are in that creativity. And it's really beautiful, right? So we don't need to be around those people in order to feel that. We can choose and start to practice that in our own way. And we can continue living our lives in the way we see fit, moment to moment, and planning and taking action and all of that, which is, it's part of this reality we're in. And it can be a lot of fun. But the key piece, I think, is choosing where we're starting at first. And whenever I find myself, right, not being in that first state where things are just, coming to me, that sense, that feeling, that image, that picture of things coming to me, and instead I'm in that thirsty searching, if I really want to make interesting shifts in my life, I can choose to pause in those moments of thirstiness, right? and reset and come back to, yeah, things are making their way to me. I mean, we'll see what they are. All the things that I want, even better versions than my logical mind, than my ego can imagine, etc. And it affects our actions. I find when I help clients make this sort of shift, their behavior changes and they stop acting so desperate because they don't feel desperate. And they seem to start taking actions that represent who they are. And that will only bring good things, right? For example, in the business world, in some of the consulting I did in the past, one of the common things that you would see with businesses is the current mental state of the CEO would reflect in where the business was heading. So quite literally, when the CEO was in a well-rounded, balanced place, and things were set straight, if it was indeed the business they're supposed to be in, which is a whole nother conversation, there would be good prospects for the future. I mean, this stuff isn't rocket science, right? It's pretty straightforward to imagine that you would want a CEO that's conscious, that's in the right place, leading the charge. But it was one of the biggest indicators of some of the folks I work with, and then I talked with a lot of people as well that had more experience than me, working with larger companies, talking about those changes as well. So that was really cool. But we see this in everything. And for me, when I look back at the periods in my life where things were really going well, this was the commonality, right? Is the things coming to me, energy, that magnetism, that confidence, makes all the difference. It's the reason why it's the only thing I care to help people shift with. And I also got some more information in this session that I did with this intuitive / medium person where I was the client, about some interesting. They just brought up that I'd be doing retreats in the future, which is something I was kind of thinking about, but it was funny hearing it from them. And so I'm just excited for working in person in groups, and and building that. And that's sort of been a thought I've had in the past, but that's ultimately where I'm headed. I love working one-on-one with people, and I'm always going to do that. And another big push will be having different retreats around the world, around the US and other parts of the globe. I think Latin America will be a thing. Potentially Turkey as well is a country that's not in Latin America that I've thought about. Greece, Spain would be fun. Yeah, and in Latin America I have several ideas. Brazil. Not sure if I'd do Costa Rica, but yeah, just getting some of those ducks in a row as well. Was some of what we talked about too. So anyway, guys, that's just kind of a life update, more than anything at the end there. But I'm Ian McMinn, and this is Path to I Am, and so hopefully this paradigm is another useful way to think of it. And if you want to work with me, you can reach out to me on my website. And there's just going to be a lot of other things that I'm going to be doing. So always feel free to get in touch. And we can connect and build that relationship, now, for some time in the future too. So I hope you enjoyed this today, as always. And I will see you on the next one.